Yes, here we are back with a lone survivor in these here playoffs. Radio Griff, at the beginning of this season, you called it. You said the 49ers will do it. They will make the playoffs. They're going to make a historic run. I predicted the same for my Philadelphia Eagles. They are now eliminated at the hands of the defending champion, Tampa Bay Bucs. A lot of questionable calls. That call on Jason Kelce, terrible. But I digress, and let's move on as we talk about last week. Is that possible? Griff, you got the better of me, man. Of course, Griffin, you remember that I chose the Eagles to win.
Of course.
But
I mean, what a terrible football game.
it was awful. It wasn't even that close. Like, they lost by 16 points, but it felt like they lost by 61 points.
Right.
So, and for that reason, I'm out.
So, I'm sure we'll have future episodes where we discuss this, but where do the Eagles go from here? Is this a building block? I mean, they have lots of draft picks. Is this a building block for the future? Is Jalen Hurts the guy?
Yeah, so that's the multi-part question. First part, where do they go from here? I think they keep going the way they are going. I mean, they were expected to win 5 games. They won 9. Granted, they drew the wrong card for that first game, and they got an angry Tom Brady, and he had a score to settle, and he did. He put it on us, man. But the weather didn't cooperate. Again, more conclusive data that Tom Brady is part of the elite 1% who get to control the weather. It was supposed to be rainy and disgusting and windy. Windy it was, but rainy it wasn't. And my whole game plan was predicated, if you recall, Griffin, on wearing the right cleats in the rain, and it didn't matter. The Eagles got absolutely pummeled. Now there's tape of the secondary coach talking about how Jalen's going to give Tampa a couple INTs, and he did. And it was just a bad day for him, and he got exposed. And so, the way I feel about the way they go with this is one of two ways. One, they stick with their word, and the word is now that Sirianni's saying that Jalen's their guy, or they bamboozle him and do what they usually do to their starters and find a way to get rid of him. He's still on a rookie deal, so he's not hurting the bottom line, but I wouldn't put it past Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Eagles, to package up some picks here. They have 3 first-rounders, maybe throw in a veteran or 2, and get the quarterback they want. Now, who the quarterback they want is, I don't even know. Nobody knows. People are talking Russell Wilson. I don't want any of that business, Griffin. I don't want him now. Maybe back in 2013, but not in 2021, 2022. I'm not about that life, man. So
what about the great Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean, there's no reason for San Francisco to not pursue keeping him. What has Trey proven?
I agree. But the Niners, at some point they have to give Trey a shot. They're in need of draft picks. So maybe the Eagles and Niners could work out a little deal, and we could see James in Philly.
You know what, man? I'm kind of concerned because, first of all, Jimmy Garoppolo would be the best looking guy in the whole city. So I'm kind of worried about his safety because there would be a lot of hating, some hazing, some eggs on his car, toilet paper around his trees. Granted, he'd probably grab a place, off the main line because he could afford it. Maybe somewhere in Gladwin like Allen Iverson did. But I don't think it's a deal that gets done, man. I think Philadelphia would ruin Jimmy Garoppolo. He has that token turnover every game that Philadelphia media would tear him apart for. I don't know what Philadelphia needs. They need a makeover, extreme makeover for Philadelphia. They got the Red X. I'm depressed about it. But Griffin, I want to focus on the positive. And the positive here, Griffin, is that you beat me last week. And chances are you guys continue this streak and beat Green Bay, but it's on the road. And I know you guys have done fairly well against Aaron Rodgers, but I want you to try your best to put your fandom aside and look at this game from an analytical standpoint, yet somehow tie that back into your heart and then put it together for a solid pick. Can you do me a solid there?
I think, I follow all the, being a fan of the Niners, there's lots of information and stats I see in my Twitter feed about this game coming up. And when you look at the stats, these are kind of 2 evenly matched teams. Lately, the Niners defense has been one of the best defenses in the league. Some believe it's the best defense remaining in the playoffs at this point, especially on the NFC side. And the Packers offense, though, is dynamic, as we all know. I mean, they have the MVP. They have the best receiver in the league. I mean, they're very good. Plus, they have, Aaron Jones, right? I mean, even they're finding a way to get Randall Cobb involved. Aaron Rodgers has weapons. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think the Packers are going to just roll with it. The line is pretty big on the game. I think at one point it got up to like 6.5. That seems like a really high number. But also earlier in the week, there was chatter of maybe Jimmy was a little more hurt than the Niners were letting on, and maybe Trey Lance was going to maybe have to step in. No one still knows for sure. That's leaning towards that Jimmy's going to play. The thing is, you look at the numbers, all Jimmy does is win. He's got one of the best road winning records in NFL history. It's a fact. The guy's a winner. Now, he's, like you said earlier, he has that token turnover in every game. We saw it last week. That game had no business coming down to the wire.
No business.
I mean, in reality, the Niners had that game in control. It should have been over long before it was.
Can we get off the rails here, like we should, and talk about that game real quick? Like, all right, can we just get to the very end and then move backward? What the deal with a 40-yard quarterback dash by Dak with no timeouts, and then the dude has the audacity to hand the ball to the center to spot?
That was, well, yeah. I mean, and credit to Tony Romo for all of us watching the game immediately said, as the fans, we don't always know the intricacies of all the rules. Romo was on top of it. He's like, no, you got to hand it to the ref. You got to hand it to him. He's got to, he's got to be the one who places it. But is it any surprise, though? I mean, it's Mike McCarthy's team who's doing this. I mean, Jerry Jones.
He needs to die. He needs to die. It would be a mercy killing. Seriously, he is like the Emperor Palpatine of the league. And he's not good for the league. He's the heel of the league. And the storyline is over. It's played itself out. The problem here, it's kind of like, is the next Sith more evil? Is this the lineage of Jerry Jones going to be worse?
No, I don't think so. I think they're a lot more chill. I mean, lots of his sons and grandsons are already running different parts of the team. Jerry needs to really, he talks about wanting to win one more before he dies and all this. Well, you need to really lean into that, because you're saying one thing, but your actions, he's trying to do it his way. He wants these coaches that he can kind of control, who aren't too big of personalities. We've seen it with Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, the Wade Phillipses. He needs Jim Harbaugh down there. He needs someone like that. He needs how awesome would that be? They would butt heads. It would be fiery. It would be great for great television. But you know what? They might win a Super Bowl with a coach like that. They need someone like that if Jerry's serious about this. But obviously he's not. He's sticking with Mike McCarthy still after that blunder. I mean, the Cowboys, Dak should know better. He's an MVP caliber quarterback in this league. He should know better on what to do in that situation. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the guy in charge. It's Mike McCarthy. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, he definitely gets the come on man of the week. The thing about the situation moving forward now, and by the way, moving backward, the Niners, you're right. They had no business it being a one possession game. Like, that turnover shouldn't have happened. That was a terrible throw. He knew it. He was like, he got it. But here's the thing. Moving forward, the Cowboys are in trouble because you got Kellen Moore getting opportunities. He is the strategy behind the innovation that they've been using between Dak and these receivers. Look, he has the best receiving core in the league. As an Eagles fan, I hate admitting that. But look at these guys, dude. And he has a two-headed running back monster. And so you combine, there's no excuses for an early out, a home playoff game, losing to a lower seed at home, with Super Bowl
Yeah.
aspirations. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Like I said, moving forward, Dan Quinn's gone. He's going to get another opportunity to coach elsewhere. Kellen Moore's gone. So who are you going to get? Who are you going to call? Here's the thing. I saw this article, and I wanted to bring this up because how crazy would it be to have Doug Peterson be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys? What a troll move. If I was Doug Peterson and I did the way I did, I went first Super Bowl in team history, and I get exited a few years later in 2020. Then in 2021, he's there for 5 years. He wins a Super Bowl in 5 years, and sorry, you're the problem. It was Wentz. Wentz was the problem. But how great would it be for him? And I'm separating myself as an Eagles fan because I'd hate to see it. I hate to see him as a Giants head coach, which he could also get the position of. But I'm thinking here, if I'm Doug Peterson, why not jump into Dallas? You have the perfect offense. You have all the tools you need. I think what Jerry Jones should do is let a couple months pass, do the draft, do whatever you got to do in April, but then come off season right before the training camp start up, I think you make the move, you cut the head off the snake, Mike McCarthy, and you bring in Dougie P, and you start over, and you run that Doug Peterson crazy offense. He can call the plays. He's got it. He's done it before. Philly. He could do crazy stuff like that. And it wouldn't be crazy. All right. But they're in trouble. Who's going to coach the team next year? Because Mike McCarthy is a blunder waiting to happen. You called it. It was like, what kind of strategy is that? Execution or not? Like, the strategy is terrible. So, I mean, as an Eagles fan, I love seeing the chaos. But for this game, Griffin, I regress. Wait, no, that's moving back. I progress. Progress, baby. Progress. Man, I want to take your Niners. Like, I want the magic to continue because seeing them beat Dallas was magical last week. I loved it. I called it, but I still loved it. But I can't see it happen. There's something about this Aaron Rodgers-led Packers team. And for that reason, they're at home. It is Lambeau. There's questions around the quarterback position, like you said, and there's that token turnover. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at the wrong time. And for those reasons, I have to go with the Green Bay Packers.
I think, that's expected from you. All year, though, there's been the storyline of Aaron Rodgers is on a mission to win it. They kind of stick it to the man. He's going to win the MVP and then win the Super Bowl. And heck, after that, he might just retire. But I think we're seeing a new storyline emerge here. Jimmy Garoppolo, the legend that he is creating right now. This guy was – the Niners said, you're not our guy of the future. I mean, the guy we drafted, we traded all these picks for, he's the guy. He's not quite ready yet, and we'll have to pay you anyways. So get out there and play until you get hurt. That's exactly what Jimmy did this year. Anytime he plays, he wins. That's all he does. He's a winner.
Tom Brady effect.
It's going to be an incredible – this is set up perfectly for Jimmy this year.
How can you say it's set up perfectly when you just acknowledge that the league wants an Aaron Rodgers?
I'm talking before Jimmy. There's a new storyline emerging here. Jimmy Garoppolo, the hero we didn't know we needed, the hero we didn't know we had. He's been here all along, and he's going to be the one that leads this team to Super Bowl victory number 6. He goes to Dallas, incredible victory. He goes to Green Bay, beats the MVP in 0-degree weather. The week after that, he faces his old buddy Tom Brady in the NFC Championship.
Sexy. That's
Jimmy
a sexy
Garoppolo
matchup.
versus Tom Brady.
Okay.
Passing the baton. It happens.
Okay.
Jimmy wins. Jimmy goes to the Super Bowl. He gets his revenge against Patrick Mahomes. It happens. The Niners don't choke. Jimmy beats Mahomes, and then Jimmy's traded to Pittsburgh, and that's all we know. But it's going to happen. This season is set up for Jimmy Garoppolo to be raising the Lombardi Trophy on February 13th.
Wow.
It's meant to be.
You said that with such conviction. Like, I would follow you off a cliff right now. I really would. But I'm still not going to change my pick. It's written. You said it. The league, there's no rewritten stories with this. If anything, it was going to be Dak. If anything, it was going to be the Cowboys. And they They imploded like everybody knew they were going to implode. Cowboys fans couldn't see it, but they're like Eagles fans. We think we believe in Rocky and all that stuff. But yeah, the league wants an Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the NFC Championship, and then maybe a Rodgers Josh Allen matchup. But I love this. I love the flow chart of your frame of mind. Like, it was freaking brilliant. Love it. So we disagree there. Yes, there will be a clear-cut winner this weekend. Cincinnati at Tennessee. A lot of people sleeping on Tennessee. A lot of people actually calling a Bengal victory on the road, Griffin. Are you one of those people?
I am. I mean, how can you not? How can you not? After what you saw Joe Burrow, after winning that first playoff game for the Bengals in 30 years last week, that guy is so cool, confident. Like, he is ready to roll. He's on a mission. The guy's going to win multiple Super Bowls in his career. Probably not this year. But Tennessee, can that offense keep up with the high-flying Cincinnati Bengals offense at this point? The Bengals are clicking at the right moment. They're on a mission to change the narrative for their team, and I think that continues this week against Tennessee.
The question for me is, how is that off week going to affect Tennessee? You never can tell with these top seeds. It's a blessing and a curse. It's like winning the lottery, Griffin. You know, how many of these stories do you hear about these people who win millions of dollars and then squander it 6 months, their families, or they hate them, they get taken to court, they lose everything. And I kind of feel the same way with this first round bye. You know, they worked hard all season, just like you do for scrounging the change to get that lottery ticket. And then poof, you have what you want, you think you want. And then the game comes around and you lose everything. And I think that's exactly what is going to happen to Tennessee. Look, I don't care. You can bring Derrick Henry, and that's fine, and it will be fun to watch. But he hasn't played. And Cincinnati is what you said. They're clicking at the right time. When the postseason comes around, it's a brand new season. I don't really take much into the regular season once the second round happens. And Cincinnati is hot right now, and the story is awesome. It's awesome. I want to see it. It's going to happen. Cincinnati is going to beat the Tennessee Titans just like they did on Halloween of 2020. I would say by the same final score, 31-20.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, let's move it over to the NFC. Los Angeles Rams going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just had their way last week. And listen, the Rams got it done. All these questions about Stafford. Can he win a playoff game? Never won a playoff game. And he won a playoff game. Is this giving you reason enough to believe he's going to continue to do it? Or is he going to shrink under the lights?
No, yeah, he's going to shrink under. He's playing the GOAT. He's playing the GOAT this week. I don't want to live in a world Tom Brady isn't in the NFC Championship game. He deserves it. That team is better. The Rams, it's boring. It's boring. I don't care about stats and numbers. I want entertainment. I don't want to see the Rams next week playing the Packers or the Niners. If they play the Packers, oh, yippee. Aaron Rodgers will destroy the Rams. If they play the Niners, no matter what you think, that would be the third matchup between those two teams. Whatever. I like Tom Brady in this game. I think the Bucs take care of business. The NFL isn't going to allow Tom Brady to go out this early. Look for refs to make calls in Brady's favor, as they always do. I think Stafford, like you said, he got the monkey off his back last week. Maybe that was kind of an emotional high for them. It's hard to keep that up going into the next week, especially when you're playing the greatest of all time. I like the Bucs.
I totally agree. They've hit their emotional ceiling. Where do you go from here? Baby steps, Matt. You won your first playoff game. Next year, you'll win 2 playoff games, but you're not going to win back-to-back and not off the back of Tom Brady. You're so right, Griff. And I hate that we have to include that into this discussion. But it's true. The league always wants Brady somewhere down the line. You know what I mean? They want him in the big game. And I get why. It's ratings and revenue, baby.
I mean, like you said, like we talked about earlier, I mean, if Tom Brady is in the NFC Championship, either way, he's either playing Jimmy Garoppolo or Aaron Rodgers. Now, I'll admit they probably would prefer Aaron Rodgers, but if they don't get that, they still get Jimmy Garoppolo, which is still
– it's a story.
Right.
Yeah.
So Matt Stafford versus Aaron Rodgers, or like, I don't know. So yeah, I think Brady gets this game.
The thing for me when I hear those comparisons, Brady versus Stafford, Rodgers versus Brady, it's really Tom Brady against the Rams defense. And although I want to sit here and say that Aaron Donald is going to plug the gaps and get to Brady in time, he's just not. Brady gets rid of the ball in like 2 seconds. Doesn't matter who you put out there. In addition to that, he's going to get those calls. He's going to get the roughing the passer calls like he got last week. Granted, I think it has to do with Derek Barnett and his big mouth and the fact that he always gets a personal foul. So when you have that mixed in with being Tom Brady, they want to protect him. Like you said, Griff, they need Brady. It's part of their deal. With that said, I think there's something to this Rams team. And I'm going to go out on a crazy limb here. And I am going to pick the Los Angeles Rams to beat the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road Sunday at 3:00. I can't believe I just said that. Oh my gosh.
Talked yourself into it.
I sure did. I better move on before I talk myself out of it. Bills at Chiefs. This is a dream matchup, Griffin. I mean, it's going to underdeliver like these dream matchups always do, but it's still exciting, right?
It is. I mean, yeah, it's going to end up being a 9-6 game probably, right? I mean, that's how like you said, that's how these things always work out. They rarely live up to the hype of this high scoring, what they should be. Man, I want to take the Bills. I like the Bills more. I mean, I'm kind of tired of the Chiefs, but I'm going with experience in this game. I think the Chiefs get it done to move on to the AFC Championship game. Again, I like to touch on the human nature side of things here. Human nature side of things with the Bills, lots of their coaches, lots of their front office. Because of the success they've had, they've been interviewing for other positions this week and the week prior.
Yeah, they just lost their assistant GM. He's out the door.
And he's probably going to take one of their coaches maybe. One of those guys for sure is getting a job somewhere else, even if it's not with the Giants. They've been interviewing other places as well. That's got to affect you somehow. That's got to take their eye off the ball a little bit. I don't care how professional you are and how efficient you are. It has to affect you to some degree. And you go with the experience. I like Patrick Mahomes in this game.
I'm sitting here looking at these numbers, and it's confusing because, first of all, I'm not good with numbers, but secondly, they don't really tell the tale. I love the story of the Buffalo Bills this year. There's something to it, and I feel like it's not over. It's not over, and I'm not giving up on my pick. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think there's something special. There's something magical, and there's magic to some teams some years, and I think Buffalo has that magic this year. I don't feel it with Kansas City. I feel like they're coming on, and they're showing us who they are and all that stuff, and Patrick Mahomes pulls 21 points out of like thin air last week. But to me, I think the Buffalo Bills continue their magical Cinderella run and defeat the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday evening. And there it is. We disagree on a lot, Griff.
Yeah.
Not politically, but as far as football goes,
Yeah, who knows?
Oh, I know. We talk about that stuff off air. We'll never talk about the divisive stuff. We like to unify, and that is why we bring the one and only zombie Tom Petty and his sage lyrical wisdom.
I should have known it.